So major gun manufacturer Smith & Wesson announced that they are leaving their headquarters in Springfield, Massachusetts, in Western Mass. They've had this headquarters for over 170 years in this one location. And they announced that because of proposed regulations in the state of Massachusetts, that they are moving their headquarters and 550 jobs out of Massachusetts into Maryville, Tennessee. It's a suburb of Knoxville. Because they're saying even though that these regulations have not been passed yet, there is still concern that this is not a safe environment for their business to thrive. So they're essentially consolidating their operations. They're moving it from a couple other states too and bringing it to Tennessee because they view it as one of the few places that they can safely and freely operate their business right now. And they put out a statement saying these bills would prevent Smith & Wesson from manufacturing firearms that are legal in almost every state in America and that are safely used by tens of millions of law-abiding citizens every day, exercising their constitutional Second Amendment rights and protecting themselves and their families. Now, they're very devastated by this decision. There's a lot of history with Smith & Wesson in Springfield, Massachusetts. So this is a very big deal, and they're going to be offering employees relocation services if they want it. But obviously, there's going to be a lot of people that are like, hey, I can't leave where I live. I might have family here. So they're probably going to be out of a job now. And my question to you guys is, we're already seeing companies go to red states. You saw Tesla moving its operations from California to Texas. How do you guys think this is going to shape the American economy in future years?
I think one of the, I know the pandemic has been devastating for a lot of people and a lot of businesses, but I think one of the greatest things that has happened from the pandemic is how it's exposed how blue states do not have heartland America's best interests in mind. Blue states are against our best interests, and a lot of businesses have recognized that. So I think we're going to see this trend continue where blue states just wreak havoc against businesses, and those businesses are going to flee. It's interesting. I took a vacation to Florida back in February, and I actually ate at a restaurant that moved from New York City to Florida during the pandemic because they couldn't open. So they said, well, we can't afford to stay closed down for a year. So we're going to move. And they opened up shop and they were thriving and they didn't have to have any restrictions on capacity. Business taxes are lower. There's no personal income tax in the state. Red states are thriving. And that's what we see in all the unemployment data. Red states are thriving right now. We have the lowest unemployment rates. Arizona, it's doing great. I just saw a new electric car company opened its factory down in south of Phoenix. It's great. Red states are thriving. Blue states are continue to lose jobs. I mean, New York is talking about increasing taxes.
Hemorrhaging.
People are fleeing. They're going to Florida. They're going to Tennessee, Arizona, Texas. This is going to continue, and I think it's great. I think people need to see how bad Democrat leaders are, and this will show them.
Yeah, I agree with everything Joey said there. It is great what's happening. The problem, as we have discussed, as we Arizonans have discussed, as that happens, turns out Californians also chase those jobs and those businesses, so they immigrate.
Except for cameras.
Except for,
I
know. But they, essentially what happens is you have the people who elected the idiotic legislatures and governors that created these horrible situations in blue states. They then move to the red states that are thriving, and then they begin turning them blue.
Yeah, that's a great point.
That's a huge problem, and I'm trying to think of how you fix this, and the only thing I can come up with is not workable. You should have essentially a moratorium on the right to vote for people who are new in the state. You should have to live in the state for 15 years before you can vote. If you do something like that, you might be able to preserve that culture or at least have it change more slowly.
See, California's one step ahead on the tax front because they're saying, I believe they can tax your assets I think it's up to 10 years after you leave the state.
Well, it's evil.
Yeah.
It's evil. Well, and then
I still have to pay taxes in that state this year. I'm not looking forward to it.
I haven't confirmed it. I saw something the other day saying that Biden was moving toward taxing unrealized
Oh yes,
gains.
yeah, that's their plan.
That's horrifying. So look,
oh yeah, your house.
if you've got a house that appreciated this past year, but you didn't sell it, sorry, you're still going to pay taxes on the appreciated
$20,000 tax bill. Sure.
In a place like this where real estate prices are skyrocketing, that's going to destroy us.
Well, that's why they're doing it, because home prices are skyrocketing in all the red states, and they want to punish the states. Yes, exactly. That's exactly why they're doing it. Yeah.
So, so I don't know how you deal with the problem of migration across states based on different. I don't know how you solve that problem.
But do you think that if people were to, if you're a conservative or a conservative company in one of these blue states, is it better to stay and fight, or is it better to just get out now?
Oh, get out.
Get out.
Yeah.
Get out. There's no incentive for you to stay.
Yeah, if they're... the left notoriously hates businesses anyway, and claims to put the interests of the lower classes first. And we see what happens in urban Chicago. If that's what it looks like when leftists put you first, imagine what they would do to companies that they don't put first to corporations. So no, they need to get out. Of course they need to get out. They need to leave.